What's going on, guys? It is Tom and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the Malaysian Grand Prix for round number 15 of the season. And after the last two races, I'm hoping to try and have a couple of good results here. Last three races, to be fair, have been pretty damn good, and here in Malaysia, and we're going to basically run some worn engine components for practice here. So we're going to use our least worn ones out of the first two units in the engine department, because we want to try and save on the engines for obviously the remainder of the season, as we are pretty marginal for engine components. I don't think we might make it, and we're going to have to do some major saving basically for the rest of the season if we want to try and make them 4 elements of the per unit basically mandatory and not use a 5th extra unit. But as you can see, jumping into practice here, we're doing now the track acclimatization and running through the practice programs, and wow, I could really notice straight off the bat the severe lack of performance and engine power from the car because of the really worn engine components I was using, and the car and the lap times and performance are just not there one bit. And as you can see now, this is where I really noticed it. Doing the tyre wear test, obviously having to take it easy in the corners, that meant obviously on the straights I had to make up time. However, because of the worn engine components, I was losing so much time, and on my second attempt I got a little bit closer than my first one, but still nowhere near. I mean, it was a real struggle to really get the car hooked up around here. The setup was fine, I felt like the car drove good, but I just didn't have the engine power, I didn't have to grunt in a straight line. And as you can see, eventually on my final attempt I had to crank up with the rich mix, and I would just get the tyre test completed. However, it would be in the green and not in the purple, so it just goes to show that it was a real struggle around here. And we then moved into the fuel saving test, and I was actually failing it up until the final corner, where I just about pulled it back with a good exit and a nice bit of traction. And as we run up to the line, we're only just about going to get it by 1,000th of a second in the purple and just complete the fuel saving test there with a maximum score of 50 resource points. But have a look at the engine. As you can see, all the components, even the gearbox, is on yellow, so that could be a growing concern for this race weekend if the gearbox starts going. But also engine components there on yellow and also orange. And finally, we move into the qualified performance test, and as you can see, we're currently about a quarter of a second up on our lap, and it looks like we're on course for possibly a green score, and that's exactly what we get, and that's going to end the qualifying test. And then finally, in the race strategy one, we encountered a big issue, and this is where it changed my weekend. As you can see now, we're going to go into the next right-hander, and look at the bottom right, as you'll see, we go from 5th down to 3rd, so we've lost the gearbox. Because of that, similar to, I believe, Hungary, I think it was, I'm not prepared to take that sort of risk with a dodgy gearbox, so I'm going to have to take a gearbox and change it out one race before schedule. So we're going to have to switch out the gearbox and put an end to practice here, and we're going to change the gearbox, put in a one of the two that I still have left. As you can see, we're going to switch from component number 5 to component number 3. That is going to mean that we are going to get a grid penalty of 5 places, and along with that, because I thought I'm going to get a penalty, I thought, you know what, why don't I take a new engine, basically, because I'm going to be down the order anyway, so I might as well take a new engine, and that way I'll comfortably get to the end of the season on these components. So as you can see, we're going to switch it all out to a 5th element power unit spec, and we're going to have a brand new gearbox, so we should be on the pace around here. We should have all fresh, parts, components, so we should be having some really good power on here. So hopefully we can try and fire back. I'm not going to bother qualifying, so because we're going to be last anyway. So we're going to jump straight into the race for the Malaysia Grand Prix for almost the last of first challenge to see how many places we can recover on the Sunday on the Malaysian Grand Prix. Okay, then, so here we are for race day at Malaysia, back of the grid, last to first pretty much, or last to interrogation mark you could say. So we're going to give this a good old crack. We got a brand new engine and a brand new gearbox, so our car is as good as it can be, pristine condition, with obviously the upgrades we've applied up until this point. So we've never had such a good car since Australia in terms of just general conditions of performance. But I'm looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be exciting, not doing qualifying for a change and actually just pushing in the race to see how much we can extract out of this beautiful car. So let's see what we can do here, and hopefully we can have a very good race. There's not much to say in the intro except for the strategy is going to be a very simple one stop. That's going to give us the possibility of switching fuel, using higher fuel. However, I think I'm going to quickly edit this to a I think I'm going to start on the medium and then switch over to the soft. I'm going to do that quickly. I think that'll be a bit more of a better strategy for me. We'll just go there. I think that'll work. So we're going to do that strategy there for the race. Start the mediums and then move over to the softs. Try and do the one-stop strategy. See what our pace is like on this tyre. And yeah, overall I'm looking forward to this race. So without further ado, let's jump into it for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Right, here we are on the grid. 5 red lights for Malaysia. And it's going to be lights out and away we go for round 15 of the season. It's a pretty okay start. We're going to get the jump on Marcus Ericsson here. We're going to follow Pascal Verlan, who's had a great start here. And now making our way down into turn 1. We're going to try and find the inside line and avoid contact with some cars. We're behind our teammate Esteban Ocon here, who's on the soft compound tyres. As we now go around the outside, can we get the move done on Alonso here? He's going to have the inside on super soft tyres. He's just about got me there. Obviously, the McLaren not fast in a straight line, but it's still got good overall grip and traction here. But we tap the back of Alonso slightly there as we pull to the inside. Going to try and make the move up the inside of turn number 4. Let's get up the inside. There we go. Nice and easy. Just squeeze them out. And they're up into P16. Now we've got to see what the AI do and how they behave through this opening lap here. I've got to try and get a feel for this circuit on medium tyres with heavy race fuel and see how the new engine performs. But right, let's have a look. Let's try and get past our teammate and try and get past his train of cars that's in front of him. Thus far, the car doesn't feel particularly great. The setup I'm not really happy with, not really working particularly great. I just feel really floaty in some corners, and the back end is always coming round on me, especially through the hairpin there. And the car doesn't feel that glued. It's just like just a constant floatiness, which I don't really like. That's because of the medium tyre and all, but it felt similar in practice. Also, I've just modified my brake bias to move it more to the front because I feel like my bearings coming around under braking, and also my differential values. So I'm trying to change a few things in the car, see what I can do, but I don't really want to increase the front wings. I feel like I can do a bit more aero on the rear more than anything, which is something that I can't change now. So let's just hope that we can find a bit of rhythm now in these tyres and ease into it a bit more, and hopefully once we switch over to the softs we can avoid having any more issues. But for now, just trying to sort of find my pace at the moment because I'm really struggling. Oh, we've got yellow flag. Palmer is out of the Malaysian Grand Prix, so he's put over to the right hand side. He's out of the race. I've just noticed Ocon started to drop off the pace also. Maybe just this track doesn't suit the Force Indias, but I'm absolutely nowhere. I'm battling McLaren Hondas around Sepang. I mean, Ocon's sort of just trundling around on soft tyres by himself there, so maybe it doesn't suit our car, this track. It's just a weird one, but I just got no pace around it. Okay, so there's plenty of cars coming to the pit lane now, which is going to promote me up quite a few places, but my pace is absolutely terrible around here. I don't know what it is, but I just can't seem to find pace. I mean, I'm ahead of the likes of people like Lewis Hamilton, but I mean, I'm just really struggling around here for some reason. I mean, luckily the one stop is going to help me, and me going onto the softs is also going to help me, but I don't know, I just haven't got the pace. Also, obviously, I'm still racing with my dodgy hand, but I don't think that's got too much to do with it. I mean, last race I was okay, but yeah, I really don't know. Right, more cars in the pit lane here. That's going to promote us a few more places up into P5 now, so now we've got Massa for company behind me, and he's going to be able to take me fairly swiftly, I think, because I've got no pace here. Okay, so we've got Massa and I believe Lewis Hamilton for company now. They've both got DRS on me here, so they're both going to pull to the inside. Massa's going to make the move. Hamilton's on super softs. I'm going to go for the wider line into the final corner here and try and defend myself. Lewis is on my inside. I'm going to let him have the position there, and there's no point in fighting this losing battle, so we're just going to try and follow the slipstream. But right now, I can't put my finger on what feels different compared to yesterday on this game. There has been an update since, but something feels different. It's almost like my wheel feels more responsive than what it was, and I'm having to readjust to how the car feels, but I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Okay, I've now got 2 Red Bulls behind me, so I'm going to have to try and tame them bulls. However, Ricardo's got other plans here. He pulls to the inside with DRS wide open here. I'm going to try and go around the outside, but I just don't have the confidence, the grip, or the tyres to really make that sort of move. We're just going to sit behind him, try and use his toe, not lose too much time, and basically wait for Verstappen to now pass. Interesting strategies from those guys going for a double super soft. I'm going to guess they're then going to transition to a medium tyre, but interesting strategy there from the Red Bulls. Obviously I'm going into the soft compound tyre. I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident with the car. Just tweak some differential settings, some brake bias settings, and I've also turned down the front wing by 1 for the next pit stop. So basically I'm sacrificing front end grip just so that I can have a bit more stability with the car as a whole, because I feel like I've got too much front wing compared to the rear, and that's what's offsetting my car slightly. So I've turned down the front wing a little bit. You'll see my values now on screen, if that will even be possibly readable once the video is uploaded because of the quality. But I'm running 64% brake bias, 80% differential, and 7 front wing instead of 8, so I've turned it down by 1 there. But the tyres are starting to wear a little bit also, so I've got to keep an eye on those. But right now I'm just trying to just sort of find a rhythm here, and there's no one behind Verstappen, so I should be okay for a while to just do my last few laps of this stint by myself. But this is the corner that I most hate, the hairpin. The back end just wants to come around there every single time, and I've got zero confidence on putting the power down or throwing the car into some of these corners. I don't know what it is, but it's just not hooked up around here one bit, and I'm starting to really struggle with it. Meanwhile though, I think Verstappen now, I just realised on my mirrors, Verstappen's probably going to make the move now on this back straight, just like Ricciardo did last lap. So this is going to be fairly short-lived. I think Verstappen's going to make light work of the move here. I'm just going to pull slightly over to the right-hand side. I'm not going to bother Verstappen too much as Ocon does his pit stop. He's going to be coming in for a set of medium tyres, I'm going to guess. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. But the back end, this is what I mean. I've got no confidence on it whatsoever. And it's not like my rears are particularly worn. They're actually less worn than my front tyres, but I've just got no confidence with it. Ocon's in for medium, so the target of this race is simple: beat my teammate. I mean, he's pulled out a huge gap on me in that first stint on soft tyres. Hopefully, when I swap over to them softs, I'm fast enough. So at the end of the next lap, I'll be coming in for my soft compound tyres. So hopefully, the gamble and the different strategy pays off. I mean, let's be honest here, this is my net position because all these guys around me on super softs will have to come in for another stop. It's impossible to go into the end on these tyres. So right now you could say I'm in a net P8. Okay, so it's been a disappointing first stint, but luckily it's about to come to an end. I've got a bit of confidence in my left hand again, so I'm actually leaning on my left hand a little bit more because it doesn't hurt as much as yesterday. So I'm actually turning out my force feedback just for better feel, because I really want the extra bit of force feedback just to feel better with the car. But here we go into the pit lane. I'm going to come in for a set of soft compound tyres, and I've got a little bit of rich mix saved up. So as you can see, I got 1.60, so that should hopefully see us through until the end of the race. But here we go then, onto the jack, away we go, 2.9, not a spectacular stop by any means, but onto some fresh softs. The engine's still not very worn, so we're going to push on hard now in this stint. We are going to be way down the order, but I've got rich mix to use, and I've got nice, fresh, soft tyres to use. So let's see what we can do now in these last 12 or 13 laps of the race. Right, so we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane in the form of Danny Kvyat and Nico Hulkenberg, so that's going to give us 2 places, and we're already 2 seconds faster than, 2.5 almost, faster than what we were doing on medium. So I'm in rich mix now. I'm going to use up all my rich mixture and push as hard as I can and see what I can do early on with these tyres at their freshest point. So let's try and really wreak the maximum out of this VJ-M10. Okay, we've got a few more cars in the pit lane now. Alonso, I believe, is in the pit lane, and we're pretty much within DRS of Van Dorn, a 2.1 improvement on my personal best. It just goes to show the pace difference I've had there. We're going to get past Grosjean and Carlos Sainz, and now looks like Stoffel Van Dorn is going to be the next one as I just get a good run through. I should be able to pass him into turn 4 if I'm close enough out of here. And am I close enough? Not quite. It's going to have to be a little bit later on in the lap, but it should be a very simple and imminent pass here on the Belgian. Into the hairpin. Let's try and get a good exit out of here, which we haven't done. The back end just always wants to come round through there. I don't know why, but it should be a fairly simple move of Van Dorn. I think I might get him into the right hander that feeds onto the straight, so just get a good run through the chicane here, and then try and pick up the inside line. Very close. We're going to just force our way through and also get DRS in the process. Van Dorn's going to try and hang around the outside. A fair play to him, but sorry mate, I've got too much straight line speed for you. We've got more cars in the pit lane, as you can see there. Ricciardo's in the pit lane. He's behind Ocon, so let's try and get past a few more of these guys. We're going to be back into the points very shortly, I think, and the question is, can we keep it in the points and try and score some good points from last place on the grid here today when I've had absolutely no pace all race. So here we go. We're going to get past Stroll and Magnussen, which is going to promote us up into 9th place, so that's not too bad. Verstappen's up next, but I wonder if there's any more places to possibly gain. I think that might be it in my eyes, but you never know. 36.2, still improving. However, Sainz is faster than me and he is catching me, so we could be under pressure very soon, especially once I turn off the rich mixture. Another personal best, still just setting some good pace, just about keeping Sainz outside of DRS so that he doesn't make a move. But once I go back down to standard, it's going to be inevitable. Meanwhile, I'm catching Ocon, who obviously is on that medium tyre, so we could maybe be up to the back of him by the end of the race if I'm fast enough. Okay, so now back down to standard. Sainz and Grosjean have caught up to me, so we could be in for a battle to try and stay in the points and score points this race. So we just got to try and use ahead, defend smartly, and we should be okay. I should have enough speed in standard mix with this brand new engine to not have to use rich to defend and I'm trying to basically save a little bit of rich mixture for the end of the race, so hopefully standard mix is good enough for me that I can save that little bit and not have to use lean. So I'm not negative, but I just want a little bit in reserve so I can use rich whenever I need to. So right now Science is looking to make a move on me with DRS, but right now he's not really close enough to really make the pop. So far we're doing a good job of defending ourselves here. Right, here comes Science. He's got DRS wide open. He's going to have a run on me, I think, at turn 1. I'm going to squeeze him a little bit. Can I go around the outside here of the Spaniard into turn 1? Side-by-side action here. Inside for turn 2, hopefully. There we go. He's going to leave us the room just about. A little bit of argy-bargy. Going to squat on the traction. Can we go around the outside? Have we got the power? Have we got the grip? And no, we haven't. Science must be in rich mix, as that Renault power unit is not that quick. He's going to defend the inside, to be fair to him. But I'm going to go around the outside of turn 4. Can I pull it off? Pick up the traction, and no, I can't. Science has fully mugged me off there, and he's made the move into P9, but we're not done yet. I will make the move back on him, I think. I've got the pace, and I think I can make the move on him. As I get all out of shape through there, maybe not. Back end, oh no. Oh, please catch. Right, I've caught it. Wow, that was a huge save, but I've lost a huge amount of time, and look at this. We're now in for a fierce battle to try and defend the points. So, can I bring it home for a single championship point? This is going to be a long last 3 laps of the Grand Prix here. Here comes Romain Grosjean now. Look at the speed. He's got even faster than the Science in a straight line. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 1. A little bit of wheel banging there as he tries to turn in on me. I also try to squeeze him out on the outside, so a little bit of 50-50 there. But a little bit of front wing damage now, which isn't going to help. I am struggling on my tyres a little bit. They're not that worn, but the spin seems to have really hurt them. And the front left especially almost on 40% already. So it's going to be hard to defend this point, I've got to say. We're going to have to really fight for everything that we have to get 1 point here in the Malaysian Grand Prix. It looks like now the Torpedo himself fancies a move on me here, as we now go on to lap number 26. 3 laps to go in this race, and now Danny Kvyat is going to try and line me up for a move with DRS assistance here. I'm going to force him to the outside like I did with Grosjean. I'm going to try and pick up the inside line, not let him turn in on me that early, and there we go, just about hold on. And then he's going to go side by side with Grosjean by the look of it, so that's going to give me a chance to just sort of break away a little bit, but I think Kvyat's just about muscled out Grosjean there. But we're defending from 4 cars in this closing stage of the Grand Prix with a bit of front wing damage, and also my tyres are just starting to really screw at me now, and the car doesn't feel good around here. I don't know why this has been one of the worst ones. This is almost like a Baku in terms of how bad the cars felt all weekend, really. Just no pace at all. Okay, 2 laps to go. This time Kvyat, I'm going to let him have the inside line. He's actually got me in the brakes there, to be fair. I'm going to try and go around the outside of him again, or say again, I mean, like his teammate Science, have the inside for turn 2. Oh, there's going to be a bit more contact there. My fault, scrubbing out too wide, just locking up on the right front. And that's going to give Kvyat the position here, but can I stick in his slipstream with front wing damage and try and make the move here? Pull to the inside. Can we get it on the brakes into turn 4? Lock up on the right front. I'm looking up at every corner now. The really high brake bars is hurting me. I'm going to have to turn it down a little bit because I'm locking up into every corner. But now, with yellow front wing damage, I'm actually understeering quite severely here. This is actually quite painful. So if I bag a point in this race, I'll be very surprised. Okay, on to the last lap of the race. Shallow line into the final corner instead of a wider line this time. Kvyat's going to try and have a pop here. I'm going to try and defend the inside. I'm going to crank up into rich mix, use what I've got left to try and defend myself. Kvyat's going to look for the outside line, but I'm going to hold it on the inside. He's going to still commit to the outside, to be fair to him. I'm going to try and squat the power, and he's still gone around the outside of me there. He's now on my inside. Let's try and get the power, and he's squeezed me slightly. I'm going to have the inside on. I'm still in rich mix, so I should be able to outpower him here. As we go side by side on the last lap, Vettel wins in Malaysia. Kvyat giving me a good old run for my money here. Can I go up the inside of turn 4? I'm going to hold the inside line. Kvyat's still on the outside. Squirt on the power. Right, I've got orange front wing damage. We've locked on tyres here. I'm going to be hung out to dry on the outside line. And Kvyat's made the move. I've got front wing damage. And I'm in no man's land at the moment. And look at the difference in speed there as they both fly past. And I think it's going to be a painful no points finish today. And sums up my weekend, to be honest. A torrid weekend. Changing out the engine and the gearbox. And now Lance Stroll making the move up the inside at the chicane, at the hairpin, sorry, and side by side through there. Good action here in this race. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of overtaking, but not for the good, instead for the bad. And after a good run of results in the last few races, we've sort of come straight back down to reality here. And wow, we've been really shocking in terms of overall pace. Hopefully the next race in Japan is better. We should have the upgrade arrive, but that was a very tough race, and one to forget, to be honest, because I think Magnussen now is looking to make a move on me here. However, I do have DRS, so I should be okay to defend, or at least I think I am. Yeah, there we go. We should be okay. So we're now going to the final corner. We're going to bring it home for P13, and that is going to cap off a disappointing Malaysian Grand Prix there. So we come across the line, P13, absolutely no points, and that is it for Malaysia. So overall, not a great race by any means, and one to forget, and I think the team will be not particularly happy with me this weekend with my performance. But Ocon, I think, managed to get P8, so good few points for him and for the team. Obviously that always helps, it's always good for the constructors to defend from Williams. But Seb Vettel wins for Ferrari in Malaysia, which is something that's happened before, we've seen before, and I think Raikkonen finished second, so a 1-2 for Ferrari. So there you go. Not too bad for the Maranello team with Bottas in P3, and I'm going to guess Hamilton finished in P4. So Ferrari edging ever closer to the Constructors and Drivers' Championships respectively, especially the Constructors. They're not too far away from that now, but overall that was the Malaysian Grand Prix, and as you see on the podium now, that is going to pretty much be the ending sequence here as we now move into the final race results, Drivers and Constructors standings. So looking at the final race results, it's a 1-2 for Ferrari, for a 3-4 Mercedes and a 5-6 Red Bull. So fairly standard state of affairs there, with Ocon just behind Massa in P8. There with Carlos Sainz and Kvyat getting points for Toro Rosso in both cars, and then our final finish in P13. A disappointing one for me, but looking at the driver standings, obviously it doesn't really mean much, as I'm still comfortably ahead of Ocon and still a little bit behind Ricciardo. But Vettel is really starting to establish dominance now in the Drivers' Championship, ahead of Raikkonen now by 42 points and 91 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And finally, looking at the Constructors, you can see that we are still comfortably holding 4th place there, so nothing new to show here for the Drivers and Constructors standings. But other than that, guys, that's been this episode of Career Mode for Sepang. And if you guys have enjoyed it, then please do smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel if you're new around here for future F1 content, and also check out these videos on screen right now if you haven't done so already. And there's also a link to the playlist down below in the description. But other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.